Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty, empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hi, and welcome to today's episode. Today I want to talk to you about the time of year that we're currently in. So this is really topical to October, September, those kind of time periods in the year. If you're listening to this on replay, it's still going to be really useful for you to know, but it's always going to be more impactful during those months. So today I want to talk to you about what this moment in time can mean for business owners and for those of us who are trying to attempt to increase consumer sales. Now, if you are a traditional retail business, you're going to be going into the biggest time of your entire annum. If you sell physical products, if you have merchandise, if you have things that can be sold that would be considered products that are evergreen, even digital products that you sell all year round, there is a really massive influx in consumerism around this time. And it's really, really important for you to be aware of that, because it does make a massive difference to people's buying behaviours, how much money people spend, and just basically the whole landscape on consumerism during this time. For a lot of retailers, the next few months, November, December, but also leading into the early Straits of October, which is why this episode's coming out to you when it is, can be up to 60% of their entire annum when it comes to income and turnover. So we're talking about sales, we're talking about the money generation metrics within your company, we're talking about the opportunity for a large influx of money, 60% of all turnover in just a 2.5 month period, the last quarter of the year. Now, so many times I make reference to our little retail calendar that we have that allows for you to really think about the high points of consumer behavior throughout the year, using that kind of rolling retail calendar that so many of the big brands, that are the household brands that we're aware of, use to be able to strategize and plan their products, their launches, and their discontinuation of products, their sales, and their sell-through situations. Now, if you're sat there and you're a coach or a business mentor, or you perhaps have a membership or a course, you might be thinking, why is this relevant to me, Dawny? And the thing is that it is entirely relevant to you, and it is something that I want you to be aware of, even if you haven't got a traditional high street shop type of business, okay? Because collectively, the next 2.5 months, whether people realize it or not, there is a collective consciousness around spending money. There's also a collective consciousness for business owners to look at this time of year and to consider that it is too difficult to do the things they had planned to do. Those perpetual to-do lists where last week's to-dos make it onto this week's to-dos because they never got done last week. You might have thought, oh, it'd be great to launch that thing at the end of summer, or it would be great to do that thing at the first week of September. And if you haven't done it yet, you might be looking at the rest of the year and going, actually, it's Happy Halloween, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year at this point. I'm just going to leave it till next year. I want you to consider that feeling, and whether you have sat there at any point. I'm giggling because I know I've already done it with one or two things, and I'm having to readdress that with myself and have a word with myself. Like, it's so easy for us now to look at this center that we're in this time frame of what time of year it is. to look at the weather, to look at what's going on for us personally. I know as a mother, for me, this whole next few is going to be a blur. I'm going to blink and it's going to be 2024, and I will have piled January 2024's plate so high that it will be another unobtainable to-do list that is just another stick that I beat myself with when I don't get these things done. Yeah, so easy for us to do. Recognize that in yourself if you're doing it too, because it is just one of those things that we don't realize we're doing it. It's almost a subconscious behavior, but we all do it to some degree. If that's your thought and feeling, please readdress it. Please readdress it. I want you to think strategically over the way in which these next few weeks and months will work for people who are looking to have a really fantastic end to their year. I want you to be thinking about the people who are actively right now looking for ways to enjoy this season. Are they looking to actively enjoy Halloween? I know it's a massive consumerism label, but it works. People right now are geared to buy things that are to do with Halloween. You don't have to go out there and educate somebody as to why they should buy something that is a Halloween theme. It is a collective consciousness. It's already there. It's culturally ingrained, especially in the Western world. Right now, October is Halloween time. Guess what sales go up in October? Fancy pumpkin coffees. You might say it's because that's when they're brought out, but it's not. People aren't buying pumpkin coffees towards the beginning of November the same way as they are in the last week of September and all the way through October. Guess what else goes up in sales? Candles. In fact, we should have a fun game. We should do a fun game at this moment, okay? Just give yourself a point if you have purchased any of these things, or if you intend to purchase any of these things in the next coming weeks. Candles, fires, blankets, jumpers, cozy things like hats, scarves, gloves, pumpkin spice things, cinnamon spice things, Halloween decorations, anything to do with costumes, anything to do with those consumerism things. Think about those things. Have you spent money on those things? Are you planning to? Okay. Even down to in the UK right now, and this will be different in the US. We have a lot of clients that will be gearing up towards Thanksgiving. So you will have a whole host of other consumer behaviors in terms of Thanksgiving, and that will start to ramp up in the next couple of weeks for you. But over here in the UK, even the things that we eat for our dinner have now changed. Okay, now it was 18 degrees outside the other day, so the weather is not that cold. I mean, I'm freezing unless it's like 30 degrees, but most people don't feel the cold the way that I feel the cold, and therefore it's not even that chilly out. But especially in the north, we'll be having things like tatty ash, which is basically a stew, but things like beef pies and lasagnas and spaghetti bologneses and heavy carb rich meals, things that are stodgy, things that have gravy, things with bread. This might be the most hilarious podcast I've ever put out, but it's true. We'll start having hot desserts. So instead of ice cream, we might be having apple pie and custard. These are the things that you don't realize you take on. They come from your childhood sometimes, they come from your surroundings sometimes. It can be a cultural thing, but we have decided that in winter this is what we do, and in October this is what we do, in November this is what we do, in December this is what we do. You know, as we move into November, firework night is going to be a big thing in the UK. In America, Thanksgiving. Then we have the whole Black Friday offer, Cyber Monday, Small Business Saturday, weekend extravaganza. If you haven't thought about that yet, please do, because that's coming. You're going to take a few breaths and it will be here, and everybody will have some sort of fantastic offer to offer their audiences. And you know, if you're actively consciously opting out, that's fine, but don't let it sneak up on you. Be aware of it and make that choice for yourself, whatever works for you. And then we move into Christmas. You don't have to celebrate the traditional holiday, the Christian spirituality of Christmas to get sucked into Christmas. Christmas now is more than just a religious holiday. It is a massive excuse for the world to pause for a small period of time, for us to concentrate on our families for a small period of time, for us to be thankful and grateful and to show people that we love them, sometimes in the strangest ways. Whoever thought up giving other people's socks would be a way to tell them that you love them, is genius. But this is all of the things that we do. You know it, I know it, we all collectively know, regardless of actual religious status. So many of us actively celebrate Christmas from midnight, December 1st, midnight, November, and we might never go to church. We might never pray. We might not be the type of people who are actively religious. We may have been brought up in a C of E situation. We may consider ourselves to be Christians or Catholic or all of those things. But, some of us don't, and we still participate. So this isn't about holidays per se, religious holidays, but this is about the combined consciousness. In the next few weeks, some of the biggest household brand names that you are aware of are about to take the most money that they have all of 2023. So think about the amount of money you've earned in 2023. Think about the launches you've had, the products you've sold, the things that you've grafted for, all of the things that you've done. And then look at this consumer area and forgive me for the pun, but how much of the pumpkin pie, how much of the apple pie, how much of this consumerism 60% of pie is your business getting? Regardless of your niche, regardless of where you consider yourself to be in the market, do you have a surge of sales in this time? And if you don't, why not? If you don't, why not? Is it because you've actively decided that you're going to concentrate on family life, or you're going to set yourself up for the next following year? And again, if that's what you really want to do and you actually can see strategically that that's going to work for you, then I don't want to discourage you from it. But sometimes we act like that's going to be our saving grace, and it can actually be a little bit of a cop-out. So this is your loving reminder from me, that if you're not consciously considering the seasons of change in the way that people spend their money, let this podcast today be the marker for you to take some time today, this week, hopefully this month at the very latest, to consider the next few weeks, the last few weeks of 2023, or the last few weeks of whatever year that you're listening to this podcast at, and recognize that there are some things that are practically gospel, and that people are geared up to spend money in this time on things that we are aware of culturally. Okay? Autumn wreaths for florists. That's another one. If you thought about spending on that, you give yourself a point. Okay? And that's going to switch. That is something that is not specific. People now are doing spring wreaths, summer wreaths. They're doing flower arranging so that you can decorate all year round. People are doing door bows, not just for Christmas, but for decoration at Easter. I mean, if you've ever heard of a Halloween tree, which is a new trend that's gone out, you'll realize that these things start to seep into each other. And one of the reasons why all of these things start to seep into each other is because there is an active joy. There's a dopamine hit that we as humans are trying to achieve by chasing these special events, by giving each area its theme, by allowing us a project. So often we are happy when we're in the middle of a project. Crafty people know that. People who do all sorts of fantastic artistic work, singers, designers, we love the journey. Okay, so think about all of those things. How can incorporate what you've got to be available to how these consumerism natures are out there and available for your audience to cling on to so that they can appreciate and want to purchase something from you, okay? I guarantee every single person listening to this podcast that has a business and has products to sell will be able to find something that they can tailor to the season, whatever the season is. You will be able to tailor it so that you can have a piece of that 60% pie, okay? I love to hear about what you do with these ideas. Please let me know in the free group. I want to know what it is you sell, what you've tailored to the season, and keep an eye out for all of our offers, because you're about to watch my own company do the exact same thing, and you'll be able to see how we do it so that you can reverse engineer it to do it for your own as well. Until next time, pretties.
If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.